This is a video about managing transactions in Enable. Transactions are generally stored in the system as the turnover of products associated with a particular trading partner. This data can be imported manually or via an automated process. The automated process would need to be set up by your IT team as described in the Help Center. So here we'll focus on how to manage transaction information manually. To search and view transactions already in the system, you can run a transactions report. After selecting a trading partner or trading partners and a date range, you can explore several additional options and filters to fine-tune your search and specify the level of detail that's returned. For example, you can further refine the dimension search by selecting dimension filters. After selecting the branch's dimension, you can further choose the branch items or the branch attributes. The same applies to products and turnover types. After making your choices, you have the option to preview the data before downloading a CSV file. A preview of 20 lines is common throughout Enable. But once you download your file, you will be able to see more. Note, all the data shown in this video is fictitious and was created for illustration purposes. To import transactions data manually, go to Config and then Transactions. Here you'll be able to download the template on the Import Transactions tab. Once downloaded, you will be able to populate the template. For each new transaction, you enter a date either in the system standard year, month, day format or in the format preset by the template. You'll then enter references for each relevant dimension item. For example, if you do supplier rebates, you might enter a supplier reference, branch reference, product reference, and turnover type reference. These references might be different from the dimension names, and if you aren't sure, you can go back to the transaction report and go to the View By option in order to get further information. The other required data includes the number of transacted units, their total value, and the currency. Any other columns such as interface date, agreement ID, or advised earnings are optional and can be left blank. Interface date specifies a range over which to replace transactions. It overwrites the date for those transactions previously uploaded in the system. Advised earnings are what your supplier thinks you should be earning from a transaction. Agreement ID is the deal against the particular advised earning. Based off those IDs, you can run a report on advised earnings and compare that to the actual amount you would be earning in the system to see the difference. For the number of units and transacted value, zeros and negative numbers can be entered if necessary, but numbers should be entered without commas. The number of decimal places allowed is part of your channel configuration. But note, decimal points not followed by digits should be omitted. Once the template is filled out and saved, the data can be uploaded to the system. After browsing to select the file, you will have a few options for the import. But typically, you'll just need to identify the transactions as purchases or sales and indicate whether trading partner references are used. Normally, the trading partner references is mandatory, but you might have other trading partner level dimensions in your channel that would allow the system to infer the trading partner. You also have the option of allowing duplicate transactions to be uploaded. This could be useful if you don't carry out daily uploads, but do so more on a weekly or monthly basis. Thus, you can select the same date for all these transactions. After clicking Import, you will get a message telling you either that there was an error or the import was successful. Note, a successful import only means the transactions are saved to the system. You need to go to the Reconciliation tab to check that they have in fact been reconciled to the proper dimension items. Click on the latest import to confirm that the transactions have in fact been reconciled. Unreconciled transactions usually have some kind of an error with the dimension item. There might be a typo, a dimension item name might have been used instead of a reference, or possibly the dimension item doesn't exist in the system yet. To see the reason for such unreconciled transactions, you can click on and download the CSV to get further information. If a transaction is unreconciled because data was entered incorrectly, you'll just need to delete the unreconciled transaction and upload a corrected file. The deletion is done on the Delete Unreconciled Transaction tab. Note, the unreconciled transactions are those where the transaction data match the trading partner but not the dimension items, whereas unmatched are those where trading programs do not match the trading partner in the transaction to a trading partner in Enable. You can delete all transactions, which will delete all the unreconciled and unmatched transaction lines from the channel at once. Simply select the Confirm Deletion button and then Confirm Delete. You also have the option of choosing a specific trading partner and clicking Delete. This would remove all matching transactions from the transaction store. If transactions are unreconciled because a dimension item isn't in the system yet, the dimension item can be added to the channel as described in the Help Center. And a reconciliation for the relevant supplier can be performed from the Reconcile tab in the Import Transaction area by going into Config and then Transactions. To delete reconciled transactions, go to the Delete Reconciled Transactions tab. Here you'll be able to specify one or more trading partners and can optionally apply filters for transaction dates, interface dates, currency, and dimensions. Note, unticking the Consider Only Manual Imports box will trigger the deletion of both manual imports and transactions sent via the SFTP. After making your selection, simply click Delete. For more information about transactions, visit the Help Center or raise a ticket on Cello.